I forgot to take my gavel out, so I'll just beat on the desk. It's time to call the City Commission meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I was kind of half expecting some pies to be up here on Pie Day. I haven't seen any of those yet today, so we'll see if we can get through the meeting without, and I know hopefully nobody speaking has a pie to throw at us today. So, all right, we are going to start off with roll call. Al.
Benson.
Here.
Brunig. Here. Johnson.
Present.
Maibaum.
Present.
Minor.
Here.
Schramm.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Villanueva.
Present.
Mayor Moser.
Here.
City Manager Leon.
Here.
City Attorney Denherter.
Here.
All right, moving on, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the work session meeting of February 28th, 2022, and the regular meeting of February 28th, 2022.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And anybody abstaining? All right. Next on the agenda is the schedule of bills. What is your pleasure?
Move to pay the bills. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on paying the bills? Anybody in the public? Al, roll call.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunig.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Maibaum.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye, motion carries. We do have two proclamations tonight, always a fun thing to do as a city, as a mayor and as a city to be able to recognize good works going on in our community. So I'll start with the first one. A proclamation of March 2022 as a month celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Older Americans Act nutrition program. And I should ask, is there anybody from the center here tonight? I didn't think I saw anybody. Okay, we will make sure that we get this proclamation to them. Whereas March for Meals is a campaign which seeks to raise awareness of senior hunger and to encourage action on the part of the local community during the month of March through volunteer recruitment and fundraising initiatives. Whereas 50 years ago, on March 22nd, 1972, President Nixon signed into law a measure that amended the Older Americans Act of 1965 to include a national nutrition program for individuals 60 years and older. Whereas Meals on Wheels programs, both congregate and home delivered in Yankton, have served our communities admirably for 50 years. Whereas volunteers for Meals on Wheels programs in Yankton are the backbone of the program, and they not only deliver nutritious meals to seniors and individuals with with disabilities who are at a significant risk of hunger and isolation, but also caring concern and attention to their welfare. Whereas Meals on Wheels programs in Yankton provide nutritious meals to seniors that help them maintain their health and independence, thereby helping to prevent unnecessary falls, hospitalizations, and/or premature institutionalization. Whereas Meals on Wheels programs in Yankton deserve recognition for the heroic contributions and essential services they have provided amid the COVID-19 pandemic and will continue to provide to local communities, our state, and our nation long after it's over. Whereas the senior population is increasingly, substantially, and action is needed now to support local Meals on Wheels programs through federal, state, and local funding, volunteering, donations, and raising awareness to ensure these vital services can continue to be delivered for another 50 years. Now, therefore, I, Stephanie Mosier, as Mayor of Yankton, do hereby proclaim March 2022 as a month celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Older Americans Act Nutrition Program, and urge every community member to take this month to honor our Meals on Wheels programs, the seniors they serve, and the volunteers who care for them. Our recognition of and the involvement in the national celebration can enrich our entire community, and help combat senior hunger and isolation in America. And it's dated the 14th of March. So let's give the center and those that help with this and volunteers a big round of applause. I do know they have a big rockathon coming up on March 17th. Lots of famous and infamous rockers, from my understanding, as I look to folks to my left over here. A couple, I know city commissioners rocking for various organizations. I would encourage all of you to support that program. Either seek out somebody rocking and donate to them, or make sure you stop out that day and support. All that money does go to helping support our seniors, which is a very, very vital component to our community. So thank you to all the good works going on at the center. The next proclamation we have is March is Social Work Month, and I thought it would be appropriate, since we have a resident social worker on the City Commission, to do the honors of reading that proclamation. So Commissioner Weber.
Thank you very much, Mayor. This means a lot to me. I've been a social worker for about 15 years now, and this is an important profession. And I've got some colleagues in the audience, and I appreciate that. Whereas the social work profession for decades has been dedicated to improving human well-being and enhancing the basic needs of all people, especially the most vulnerable among us, particularly during the global pandemic. Whereas this year's social work theme, "The Time is Right for Social Work," embodies how social workers rose to meet the most pressing challenges of all of our lifetimes, the COVID-19 pandemic, even as our nation continues to grapple with systemic racism, economic inequality, global warming, and other crises. Whereas social workers are the largest group of mental health care providers in the United States and work daily to help people, whether in person or remotely, overcome substance use disorders and mental illnesses such as depression and anxiety. Whereas social workers have always helped people overcome issues such as death and grief, and helped people and communities recover from increasing natural disasters such as fires, hurricanes, and earthquakes brought on by climate change. Whereas social workers have helped this nation live up to its values by successfully advocating for equal rights for all, including Black, Indigenous, people of color, those who are LGBTQA, religious groups, and others. Whereas the social work profession is one of the fastest growing careers in the United States, with more than 715,000 social workers today, and nearly 800,000 professionals expected to be employed as social workers by 2028. Whereas social workers have continued to push for changes that have made our society a better place to live, including a livable wage, improved workplace safety, and social safety net programs that help ameliorate poverty, hunger, and homelessness. Whereas social workers possess the necessary expertise to assist our nation in some of its most demanding concerns, including their health and well-being, not only during the pandemic, but all times, ensuring equal rights, improved health care and mental health care for all, and immigration reform. Whereas social workers work in all facets of our society to meet people no matter their circumstance and empower them to live to their fullest potential. And now, therefore, in recognition of the numerous contributions made by the social workers in America, our Mayor, Stephanie Mosier, Mayor of the City of Yankton, proclaimed this month, March 2022, as National Social Work Month, and call upon all citizens to join the National Association of Social Workers and the City of Yankton in celebration and support of the social work profession. Do you want a picture?
You guys want to take a picture? So we can, yeah, go ahead. Right, meet partway. You can get that. Now, did Commissioner Weber state that either one of you needed to come up and talk for a few minutes, introduce yourselves, or at least tell us who you are? Feel free to step up to the mic. I believe it's on, correct, Dave? I think I can see the green light. You don't have to give a big speech, but maybe just tell us who you are. That'd be great. Hey, there we go.
Hi, I'm Barb Mecklenburg-Ruffenat. I'm a coordinated care social worker at the Avera Medical Clinic in Yankton, and would like to recognize the many social workers in our community. I'm not sure if you all know we have a lot of community social workers. I'd like to recognize my Avera colleagues that work at the nursing home and as well as the hospital, and the state of South Dakota HSC in Yankton, where Brooke is employed, and also the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Social Services, Lewis and Clark Mental Health Center, Federal Prison Camp, and educational institutes such as USD, which has a master's level program at this time. And we have a lot of private practitioners in the community, Bridges of Hope, Jerry Weber, and Journey to Change, Meridian Counseling, Heartland Psychological, Rising Hope, and we have a lot of retired social workers in the community that do a lot of volunteer work. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you, and to you and your colleagues for all the wonderful work you're doing, because I know there's probably a lot of thankless days, late hours, and trying to keep our community healthy, and we appreciate that. Commissioner Weber, anything else you wanted to add?
You know, just it's just really fun to be in here with you guys because you both were at the beginning of my career, so it's really nice to have you here. And our police chief, his wife, is also a master's level social worker, so it's great to have you all here. Thank you.
So I'm sure Chief Foote is daily showering his wife with gifts since it's her whole month, right? Okay. Well, thanks again for all the work you do in our community. As Commissioner Weber said, even thinking about COVID-19 and just the other layer of difficulties and struggles that added for our community. Thank you for all you do. All right, I will turn it over now to City Manager Leon for her report.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the commission, and public, and those watching on YouTube. Couple of things to visit with you about this evening. I want to talk and remind everyone about Citywide Cleanup. We will be doing our Annual Citywide Cleanups, it's scheduled to begin on Saturday, March 19th through Saturday, April 16th. So if you are a resident of the city of Yankton and you're on our solid waste collection route, you can dispose of the eligible items that we pick up at the transfer station for free. That's at 1200 West 23rd Street during our normal business operation hours, which is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. So we will have curbside collection this year. So we like to joke, Public Works has decided we need the moisture, so that's why we do curbside collection. That's beginning April 4th. We ask that people, even though it's going to be really nice and we're all going to be tempted to just let go of things, please do not put things on the curbside prior to March 26th. So again, we're scheduled to begin April 4th. Please do not put things on the curb before March 26th. Note that the drop-off and curbside collection is available only to our residential customers on regular routes. And there is information on our website about what things we will not take and what things are acceptable, et cetera. So if you have questions, please refer to our website, or you can call 668-5211, and Brooke will help folks understand what it is they can and cannot take and where to put the items, et cetera. So we're looking forward to that program. Hopefully the weather holds out for that. Tomorrow evening, a number of us are traveling over to Vermillion for the South Dakota Municipal League District 3 meeting. This is the meeting where we get together with our league district, and Yvonne Taylor and the Municipal League provide us with an update of all the legislative actions, the budget for the state, and how that could impact us as a local government. So we'll be learning about that and discussing that with our colleagues from other communities. And then as a follow-up at the next city county meeting, we'll be talking about that with our friends in Yankton County, and along with a couple other issues as well. And I believe Mayor Mosier and Commissioner Maibaum are our representatives there on that. So we'll be talking as a group about that together so we know what we can expect when those bills and go into effect in the summer already. So Al is going to help me give you all a gift. This is from Yankton resident Lois Varvel. Many of you know Lois, who's been just a champion of history, specifically history of the Meridian Bridge. And many of you probably are familiar with the fact that she authored, along with others, a book about the Meridian Bridge, and she asked that I give them to you as a gift on behalf of her. So we have some copies at City Hall, but she's given us a copy for each of you and for some others as well. Many of you probably are aware that 2024 is when the bridge will be 100 years old. And so Lois and I have discussed informally, and we'll probably be discussing with you at budget season formally, whether or not we want to do some special events associated with that landmark date. So the history of the bridge is really that business owners came together to put their money together to build that double-decker bridge, so to be able to have commerce from the other side of the river. And it was quite a feat. I think it was the first, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the newspaper or Nathan, the first bridge in our area for sure across Missouri that allowed for commerce back and forth. So we ask that you take a look at that, and I'll certainly send a thank you note to Ms. Varvel, thanking her for that. And just as you look through that book and read that book, think about maybe ways that we can participate and partners we can have in participating and celebrating that when we get to that point. So it seems like a long ways away, but as you know, we have to budget early and plan early for things that we may want to do to celebrate that iconic piece of infrastructure in our community. We're still spread out here a bit. I think our numbers continue to go down with COVID-19, which is awesome. I haven't heard from anybody that they are uncomfortable coming back together, so I'll talk with the folks that put together our room and see what their schedule is. The technology takes a bit to bring back together. So either next meeting or for certain, if not next meeting, the following, we'll put you back together unless I hear otherwise or unless we learn otherwise. So I just wanted to give you all a heads up on that. And then tonight you'll be setting a date, I hope, for a work session next time we meet, March 28th. Staff is putting together some information about the old water treatment plant. That was a topic that we were working on prior to getting interrupted with everything in the pandemic. So we would like to bring that forward and talk about where we're at, what we found out over the last couple of years, and start kicking the tires around there on what we want to do with that. So I don't have anything else, Mayor, unless the commission has questions for me.
I have a question. I know that we've got an item on our agenda tonight related to the upcoming election, but I am curious, are we as a governing body going to be voting on a resolution to combine elections with the school board? I ask that because just looking in the state statutes recently, it did spell out that the governing bodies did have to come to an agreement, especially when it comes to the costs associated with sharing an election. So I'm curious if that's something that's going to be coming up on an agenda of ours, or if we're already past that time frame.
This has been a group endeavor for, gosh, as long as I've been on the commission now. And the way we've kind of treated this is if we have two elections, the school doesn't always have one. But if we have an election, it's just assumed that we're going to be joint unless we decide otherwise. And the commission can only decide that by January 15th. So in practice, we always treat it as it will be a joint election if we both have an election, unless either governing body chooses to not have that happen. It's much like the item number 4 on the consent items, where you'll also be picking representatives for the Joint Consolidated Board of Equalization. That's another one of those that unless we change it, we just assume we're going to have this joint board. You don't have to do it that way, but unless the governing body chooses not to, it's just assumed.
When I guess I didn't notice anything that we have in what we list inside of Muni Code that's related to that. So I guess I don't mind either way. I just know that was something that was brought up in previous conversations. But then as far as the costs associated with running election and sharing in those costs, that's also something that's currently absent inside of our own ordinances. So do we also have to vote on something like that at some point?
And again, in the past, while we've handled that is we take the lead on all the publications and the payments, like to election workers and stuff, and then we just in turn bill the county for their share of that.
And
I'm sorry, not the county.
The school board.
Bill the school for their share of that.
Okay.
So we just handle it administratively.
So then the school board, they're aware then that we'll be
Correct,
sending them an
correct,
invoice. And is that 50% of the costs?
I'd have to look it back up. I think that's how we've done it in the past, it's 50-50.
Okay.
Amy, do you have in front of you election dates and kind of notices of timelines to share with the public as we prepare for that?
I do, Mayor, and I'm happy to share that. I think I can say it in my sleep, but I will read it just to make sure I get it correct. So there are 6 candidates running for 3 open city commission seats in the Tuesday, April 12th municipal election. And those will be on the ballot in the following order: Jerry Weber, Stacy Nichols, Mason Schramm, Amy Miner, Miles Warren, and Kurt Bernard. The Yankton School District will also be conducting an election with the city this year for 2 open school board positions. The ballot order listing is Amanda Johnson, Sarah Sarda, Eric Messler, Terry Crandall, Lisa Hageman, and they'll be on the ballot that way. Monday, March 28th is the deadline for folks to register in order to participate in this year's municipal election. You may absentee vote. That's available that Monday, March 28th through April 11th, and that's from 8 to 5 at the City Finance Office and the School Administration Building. So 2 places where you can vote absentee prior to the election day. The voting centers for Election Day, which again is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, will be located at the City Hall Gym and the North Fire Station, or Fire Station 2 as we sometimes call it. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that's the voter information we have, and if you're not sure if you're registered, that's something to check out, because there has been times when people have come and they're not registered to vote, and then they're not able to participate. So happy to answer questions about that, or Al's here too if you have more detailed questions about the election.
Any other questions for City Manager Leon? Thank you for going through those. I knew you knew them. All right, moving on. Now is the time and place for anybody in the public who would like to address the City Commission for something not on the agenda tonight. Seeing no movement, we'll move on to the consent agenda items. I will tell the commission, I will read all 4. We will vote if you vote to move the consent agenda, and then we'll back up and then ask for volunteers. So I would strongly encourage you, as I'm reading the consent agenda, to be thinking about putting your name in for that Board of Equalization. We do need 3 city commissioners and an alternate to agree to serve on that as written for that meeting to take place. So as I'm reading through the consent agenda items, my fellow commissioners, please think about volunteering after we get through that. So number 1 under the consent agenda is setting the date of March 28, 2022 at 6 p.m. Here in room 114 for our next work session for the Yankton City Commission. Number 2 is to establish March 28, 2022 as the date for a public hearing on the request for a special events malt beverage on off sale license for one day, August 5th, 2022 from Utica Hall, LLC, doing business as Utica Hall. That is at 801 McCarthy Street, Utica, South Dakota, at the 4-H Fairgrounds, which is located at 901 Whiting Drive. And number 3 is to establish March 28, 2022 as the date for a public hearing on the request for a special malt beverage on-sale retailer's license for 2 days, August 19th through the 20th, 2022, from the Yankton Rodeo Association, Doug Hevley, President, at the rodeo grounds, which is located at 401 Paddle Wheel Drive. And the 4th one is consideration of Memorandum 22-48, recommending approval of the mayor's appointments to the Consolidated Board of Equalization. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda items? Anybody in the public? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And anybody abstaining? All right, we're going to make this quick because you had plenty of time to think about it. Who would like to volunteer to sit on the Consolidated Board of Equalization? I need 3, or I'm voluntolding people.
I can do it again.
Thank you. Commissioner Benson?
I'll do it this year.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson.
As will I.
Commissioner Maibaum. See, you guys are awesome. Is there somebody willing to serve as an alternate in case one of those individuals cannot do it?
I will be an alternate.
Thank you, Commissioner Villanueva. All right. See, I knew we'd make this fast. You guys rock. Okay. Moving on, we do not have any old business in front of the City Commission tonight, so I will move on to new business. And before, number 1 is consideration of Memorandum 22-43 regarding a 5-year lease between the City of Yankton and Great Life. This is for 2023 2023 through 2027. Before I ask for a motion, I would like to have a discussion on this. So I'll ask Todd Larson, Ross, one of you guys are probably ready to go. And I will share with the commission, Jason and Nick from Great Life are also here. So I think we'll go ahead and have Todd and Ross or whomever walk us through what we're looking at and what we need to know. And then if you have any questions, as I said, Nick and Jason are here as well. So I'll turn it over to Todd.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager Leon and I were able to meet with Great Life at the end of 2021 as we look into 2022. We are in our fourth year of a current 4-year lease. Again, important to remember that that original 4-year lease was based on our golf cart lease. We had just signed a 5-year lease, and so when we entered in with Great Life, it was a 4-year lease to get us to the end of the golf cart lease, which is now at the end of 2022. City was making the lease payment for the carts, which is around $34,000 approximately each year, and then there were also the GPS entertainment screen units that were on the carts, and that was a separate company, separate payment. So we have each summer about $12,000 that we pay for those. So we were making about $46,000 in payments on golf cart items. The city will be getting out of the golf cart business now. So at the end of 2022, we no longer will lease or buy carts. Since Great Life will need to buy or lease carts moving forward, the original contract had a $40,000 payment that was made by Great Life to the city each year. That $40,000 payment will go away, obviously, since we no longer have the golf carts or the screen payments that we're making. The lease payment now will just become $1 a year, so that'll be under compensation. The fleet of carts that we currently have can either be bought by NB Golf Carts, who we dealt with the last time, or the city/Great Life can make a balloon payment to buy the carts, which will be about $68,225 or so at the end of this year. So we'll work with Great Life to figure out what route they would like to go there. As a part of the contract, as you look through, things that might change a little bit or don't change, provide a Class A PGA golf professional to oversee the golf operations is something that's in the contract and which stays. Provide a full-time maintenance person dedicated to the facility. In the original 4-year agreement, we had the word superintendent in. Again, back to what we titled job descriptions. Anyway, Great Life has asked that we can take out the word superintendent. And again, it's going to say full-time maintenance person dedicated to the facility. So that is a change. Private carts were and are still allowed under the Great Life policy. Again, if everybody remembers the original conversation, those were concerns people had. Private carts will stay allowed under the Great Life policy. Capital improvements is the other big area that we work with Great Life on. Again, going back to the original 4-year agreement, when we entered into that, we had already budgeted for the first year of capital. So we, the city, had about $107,000 in capital that we did at the course of the first year of the lease. In the second year of the lease, it was around $100,000. We, the city, did $75,000. Great Life did $25,000. In year 3, we would have still been around the $100,000 mark and would have been 50-50. Great Life asked if there were they had some other courses that they were looking at doing some significant projects on. Would they be willing to work with us if we didn't do capital in 2021? Which we were okay with because we were also at the same time talking with Great Life about the irrigation system and a pump house station project, and we were getting quotes on that, and we knew it was going to be well over $100,000. So that would allow us to have $50,000 that we would have spent in 2021 and bring it forward into 2022 as we looked at some of the components coming up. So again, this year, capital out at the golf course would be 50-50. And as we've talked with Great Life, looking at the new contract, the capital amount, instead of trying to be around $100,000 a year, we'll try to go to $120,000. So that's $10,000 each. But part of the wording is too, and what you saw with what we dealt with on the irrigation project, again, the course is ours. We own it. We own the stationary stuff. We own the buildings. If Great Life goes away, we still own the golf course. We still own the buildings. We still own the irrigation. So they would like to work with us on items that are permanent on our course. We will pay for 100% out of that capital fund. And then if there are items that they can buy that are portable, that they can take to other courses throughout the season, whether it's spring, summer, or fall, to help with some other courses. They'll look at spending the capital that they're dedicating on those type of items. So again, we still each have our own inventory, but that way, again, we're spending on what's going to stay ours, and we're going to try to help them spend on what will stay theirs if our relationship would break up. So again, capital changes a little bit, and again, we try to increase the amount going forward, and everybody, I think, understands why we would try to increase the capital amount a little bit at the course. Staffing, again, just everybody should know this, but staffing is 100% Great Life. We, the city, have no employees at the golf course. Insurance, liability and alcohol liability, workers' comp and liability, equipment casualty and liability, Great Life carries all of those. Again, we, the city, own, so we insure the structures and the casualty insurance that goes with those. So structures, clubhouse, maintenance, golf cart storage buildings, we, the city, still insure those structures. Utilities are all Great Life. City picks up the trash, and we remove the snow. Again, their operation is quite a bit different than what we had in the winters, but again, sidewalks and parking lot, when we're doing snow removal, we, the city, still do the snow. Again, as you go through, it still lists out structure, especially the clubhouse, maintenance items, daily, weekly, monthly, golf course items, mowing, fertilizing, spiking, aerating, and again, those things are based on standards that we had talked with Great Life before we ever entered into the first lease agreement, and those are still things that Great Life is saying, you know, we do these at the items that you have listed in there, we do at all of our golf courses, and we will continue to do those. So we don't see that changing. We need that to be successful as a golf operation. So that kind of works through most of the lease, unless somebody would have something specific that they thought was weird and that I haven't touched on, or if Ross has something he thought was important that I did not touch on.
I did review the agreement, went through with Todd. I feel very comfortable with the language in its current form.
Again, Nick and Jason are here from Great Life. Through the first 4-year lease, Amy has maybe received phone calls or emails. I periodically receive some phone calls or emails. It's been about dogs being on the course. We've had a few conversations about thistles here or there, rough. Again, people that live along the golf course, if there's rough and what length it's being mowed and how often it's being mowed. So we have taken those type of phone calls. I talk with the person on the phone. Usually then I call, email Jason or call Matt out at the clubhouse and let them know. Normally it's some conversation that's already, they're usually aware of it. It's already been going on, and so they're aware of it when it comes to me. So they've been very good, very responsive. Anything I didn't touch on?
No, I mean, most of the conversation's been positive, and we certainly have appreciated partnering with Great Life. They've been, I think, a good partner for us, and we went into this not really certain how it would go, and they've worked with us really well, and it's been a good partnership. And you know, we thought we were going to hear a lot more, but we have dog complaints everywhere. So to have them at the golf course is not unusual or probably typical of other things. So we've appreciated them, and then in this process as well, negotiating very fairly, I think, with us, and so it's a win-win situation for both of us. You know, they bring us something we don't have, which is volume, and our golf season, especially this week, comes a little earlier than it is up north. And so we have the opportunity as a community, as they're bringing members from all over the state, really, but primarily the Sioux Falls area, to get them to stay and do other things in Yankton, too. So they bring us an opportunity, a benefit there that we can't write into the lease because we can't quantify it, but I think it's an important one for our restaurateurs and our folks that own entertainment-type businesses and retailers.
Again, those that are Great Life members would know too, they've expanded. Again, they're always out looking to make their memberships have more value. And there are some golf courses down in the Phoenix area that they started working with this last year. So Great Life members can get down to the Phoenix area, and I'm not going to say it's golfing for free, but golfing at a reduced rate for sure, if not free. So again, they're good for the golf business and those that golf in Yankton that are members at Great Life. So they're providing value that we, the city, wouldn't be able to do. So.
Todd, you mentioned just to change up in the language from superintendent to, I see it here as a full-time maintenance person. Is like you were saying, that is just it's a difference without a distinction, or a distinction without a difference. I'm sorry, but the same role is in effect. I guess. Can you just clarify why was that important?
Great Life. Good. You can come up and.
Nick, if you could introduce yourself and kind of what you do for Great Life for the folks.
I guess Jason could probably take this one, but yeah, Nick Ovenen with Great Life. I'm the president of Great Life. So we just felt that language was important because we have a superintendent that oversees multiple golf courses. So the role of our superintendents are the ones to be able to do applicators and sprays and things like that, where we have a maintenance person that can be there and do the day-to-day work and be overseen by multiple facilities, if that makes sense. So it's a way for us to be able to be more efficient with our people and our products, and that's why we can cross-utilize some of the different things from the different golf courses and bring them down when it's necessary.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Nick, I'm going to keep you up there.
Absolutely.
So you weren't on the initial conversations, because I know myself and other city commissioners, I might be the only one that was left. Oh, no, Bridget got in at the end. What have you learned? I know Jason was in those initial discussions, and they got pretty heated at one point. And I think, as City Manager Leon said, obviously the tides have changed. We've gotten good reviews, very minimal complaints about it. What have you learned? What do you see moving forward? Should the City Commission approve this tonight, what do you see moving forward? And I know one of the bones of contention initially when we met were leagues and tournaments. Do you see any of that changing as we move forward?
We've learned a lot. A lot of it is making sure that we can provide something for the city. So having leagues, having tournaments are important to be able to increase our play and increase things for people to do. So I just put together some different numbers. So we brought in just about 8,000 rounds from outside the Yankton area last year. So of the 23,155 rounds that were played, 7,794 rounds were played from outside the Yankton area. So part of our goal is to be able to bring people to the communities that we're in, so that it brings another value, not just to the golf course, but to everybody around. So that's why we've added member benefits. We actually have some corporate partners that we've increased that, so we can bring more visibility to the different businesses in town, because we like to partner with different people that do things locally, because it's a cool thing to be able to offer. So for leagues, we want to keep the leagues going as much as we can. I know that we did junior camps last year, were one of the biggest ones that we've had in the past. I think based on the flags in the clubhouse, our junior camps, our PJ junior leagues versus Vermilion, I'm pretty sure we've won 3 years in a row. So that's a big feather in the cap. And we actually have, I know Matt Drake was a big part of it, but we also had some young guys that were working out there with the kids last year too. So a lot of those guys are coming back. So we want to make sure we keep growing the game and finding creative ways to get people together, especially families, so they can grow stronger relationships together. So anything that we can do to help out. I know we have a group of people coming down in April to pack, I think it's pack bags. I'm not sure. I know it's on my calendar, but Lynn set it up, so we want to get more involved in all the communities that we're in. So we're going to do some community service and different projects like that too.
I think they call it the Sack Pack program.
That's what it is. I'm sorry I butchered that one.
That's all right. That's all right. Any changes you see moving, or just kind of taking what you've learned and if approved, moving forward?
I don't see
kind of what's on your horizon.
Yeah, I don't see any changes from the community aspect here a whole lot. Obviously, we want to expand on our member benefits and corporate partners. If we can bring value to other people, we'd love to be able to do that. But in terms of anything major, we just want to keep growing our membership base. We're 1,036 total memberships, so that's 433 golf and fitness, and 603 fitness-only memberships. So that equates to just over 2,000 members. So that is a really good percentage of people in a community that are wanting to be healthy and active. And that's what our goal is to find the creative solutions for people to get together and be healthy.
I love it.
I have a quick question, actually, kind of a follow-up. When you say 8,000 folks from, outside of our area, if possible, just out of curiosity, because the city invests annually to bring visitors, like technically visitors, who are outside that 50, 60-mile radius, would that be something that could be perhaps provided to the city on an annual basis, just anonymous information that we could, essentially pinpoint, who are actually visitors, as the state of South Dakota would define them. It'd be awesome data point for us to have, I guess, in our back pocket, if anything, because again, this is still an investment for the city every year running a golf course, and it's no different than if we're investing in what was like the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and now Yankton Thrive, but to bring visitors, if that's something that could be just spelled out annually as we would meet with you here, just to understand the implications of this relationship, because I think that's what we all really want. We want not only to serve the citizens here in Yankton who help make the Fox Run Golf Course a reality, but to also bring visitors into our community. And I think that's a huge advantage of having Great Life in this mix with us, is you have so many locations throughout the Midwest that Yankton can become that additional stop for folks. So anyway, I don't know if it's not necessarily spelled out here in the lease, but if that's the level of reporting that you and the team might be interested in. Again, It can be completely anonymous, but it just helps us in the overall calculus of running a golf course.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get that to you in January of every year if you want to do that. So
I'm sure that guy would want it.
Anybody else?
I just want to jump in. I'm a teacher at the high school, and so in my ecosystem, as we were transitioning and welcoming Great Life, I heard lots of questions about what will happen to the golf teams and the Bucks and Mount Marty and so on and so forth. And I think that has gone exceedingly well, and I want to thank you for being a support not only to our local golfers, but to our local teams. Thank you.
you're welcome. And that's mainly that guy right there.
Well, I was going to say, I wouldn't even point out golf because I still hear cross-country meets taking place out there because I live out by there. So all of a sudden I'll be outside on a Saturday and hear all this screaming, and I know it's not golf. So yes, I know that was another item that came up in our initial discussions that we worked through. And any other comments and questions before I ask for a motion? Jason, I feel bad. I feel like you came all the way down here.
Do you want to get up here and talk?
Jason, maybe you can walk us through, for those that don't know, Matt is no longer going to be with us, for those of you that do golf out at Fox Run, so we're sad to lose him. He was a great person to take this program and get it up and running, and I know got very quickly the respect of some of those well-established golfers out there. What's the plan moving forward for his position and others? What is seasonal help and all of that look like for you guys?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. My name's Jason Sugang. I'm the Vice President of Golf for Great Life. And, kind of speaking on Matt, he's been with myself way back from pre-Great Life days when I was at Baker Crossing. So I've known Matt. I was his high school golf coach and everything. So Matt's grown with us for quite some time. And his ultimate goal was to get back into Sioux Falls. And so he had that opportunity. He does have a girlfriend now. She works in Sioux Falls. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but his ultimate goal was to get back into Sioux Falls, and he does have a good opportunity at Minnehaha, and there's a good professional there, and he can learn under them and kind of decide where he wants to go and what part of the golf business that he wants to be on. So, but as far as golf, I mean, we're wanting to grow the game of golf. And that's what my job is, and that's what we do, and that's why the high schools and the little kids and the junior programs and PGA Junior League and everything that helps grow the game of golf. And if the kids aren't growing up playing, then eventually golf is going to go away, so that's a big focus of ours. Leagues, tournaments, events, I mean, we're going to keep all that going. We want to try to grow the leagues. If we can expand them at all, we'll certainly take a look at doing that. But I mean, that's just going to help bring everybody together, and it's going to help everybody and help the community thrive and Great Life and Fox Run and everything there. So those are a couple of things. What was one of the other questions that you?
I think just, as you move forward, obviously with help and people, everybody looking for people with jobs, how are you looking seasonally and things like
So
that?
I
And
put out
getting ready for the nice weather coming.
Yeah. And actually, we're going to be open tomorrow at Fox Run with carts and everything. Driving range, I think, is going to be open as well. So we'll kind of full bore and we're ready to go. All of the golf courses in Sioux Falls are still closed right now. So we still have some snow up there and a little bit of the frost is getting out of the ground. It's just kind of soggy and everything. So we're going to probably stay closed for this week. So we will get a lot of people from Sioux Falls coming down, the next few days to play. And I know just coming down and kind of helping Matt out here the few days that we're open, there's a lot of Sioux Falls people that are coming down. They travel, they like to play golf. And, they love Fox Run. So, I mean, they do have opportunities to go to Vermilion, but, they choose to come here, So there's a good reason for that, and we have a good product and everything there. So, but I do have a national search out for a PGA professional. I have already received a couple candidates, and we'll be conducting interviews basically, as soon as we can get somebody in. And Matt's last day is March 25th. And in the meantime, you might be seeing a lot of me down here until we get somebody in there. And even if we do get somebody down here, I'll be down here and active and basically allowing that whoever the new candidate is or whoever new person is to succeed, so we'll be spending a lot of time with them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right. Seeing or hearing no other commission questions, at least, I would entertain a motion, if that's what you so desire, to enter into a 5-year lease.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other commission discussion? All right. Anybody in the public like to address the commission on this motion? Seeing no movement, Al, roll call.
Weber.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunig.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye, motion carries. Gentlemen, we look forward to a very successful continued partnership with Great Life, so thank you. All right, number 2 under new business is consideration of Memorandum 22-40, approving the recommendation of the election workers for the City of Yankton election on April 12, 2022, and establishing the compensation for said election workers. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the commission? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunig.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye, motion carries. Number 3 under new business is consideration of Memorandum 22-42 regarding a memorandum of understanding related to a 2013 sales tax reimbursement agreement. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunig.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye, motion carries. Number 4 under new business is consideration of Memorandum 22-41 regarding Resolution 22-09, an offer to purchase approximately 1.4 acres of city-owned land in the East Industrial Area. This is a sale of $37,000 for that. And the offer is from Brad Rayfeld and Harvey Lewis LLC. This space would be a multiple place to serve as an incubator for new contractors just getting started. So what is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the commission? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Brunig.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 5 under new business is consideration of Memorandum 22-44 regarding Resolution 22-10 for a 2022 bridge reinspection. This will equals 80% would be paid by the Federal Highway Administration and 20% by the city. This would, if approved, go to Banner Associates, which we've worked for in the past. And I would point out in the commission memorandum, they had the word, I think it was 11, and then 12 in parentheses or vice versa. It is 12, correct, Adam? 12 inspections that will need to be done. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Amy, Adam, this is just routine, we're selected. How in structures, how was that all selected?
Correct.
And
Mayor,
what's,
I'll try and see whatever I get wrong, Adam can fill in. We're required to inspect our bridges every other year. So we do this every other year, and we're inspecting, we do the underwater inspections at times. You guys will see that as well, and those are in cooperation with the state. But these are the decking inspections where we, establish our load limits based on those inspections, and those occur every other year. So, if changes need to be made, we will make then also that, indicate the condition of the bridge, repairs that need to be made, if replacement needs to be done, et cetera. He's nodding, so I did.
good job. Right? All right. Any other commission discussion? Anybody in the public want to address the commission? Roll call.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunig.
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye, motion carries. Number 6 under new business is consideration of Memorandum 22-46 regarding a bid award for liquid asphalt. This would be for Jubro Inc. out of Sioux City, who I understand, reading our commission memorandum, we've worked with for several years in supplying the city's liquid asphalt products. What is your pleasure?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion?
I guess I'd have a question for Adam. These fall under the road materials that we see in the budget from the street department, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's $250,000 that we've been budgeting the last couple years?
Yes.
Do you know about where we ended up last year, 2021, as far as the $250,000 that we had budgeted?
I do not right offhand. I'd have to look into that.
Okay. But it still looks like even for 2022, we'll
Yes.
more than likely end up below that.
Yes, we should be able to stay within budget.
I'm sorry, and I guess we'd also be including the next agenda item in this as well, is that right?
We do have an open asphalt account too in the
Gotcha.
capital, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commission questions, discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Mybom.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunig.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye, motion carries. Number 7 is consideration of Memorandum 22-47 regarding a bid award for bituminous mix. This is at $74 a ton going to, if approved, going to concrete materials. And again, we've worked with them for several years. What is your pleasure?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Minor,
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber,
Aye.
Villanueva,
Aye.
Benson,
Aye.
Brunig,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye. Motion carries. And number 8 under new business is consideration of Memorandum 22-45 regarding a bid award for a tractor purchase for the Chan Gurney Airport from Sourcewell. I am understood this is more of a utility gator. From Mark's Machinery for $19,263.22, of which $23,000 was budgeted. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public like to address the commission? Roll call.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber,
Aye.
Villanueva,
Aye.
Benson,
Aye.
Brunig,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
Minor,
Aye.
Mayor Moser.
Aye, motion carries. There is no other business in front of the city commission tonight, so I would ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss contractual litigation and personnel matters under SDCL 1-25-2.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And anybody abstaining? We are adjourned into executive session.